Hey, so let's talk about something pretty incredible. How just watching a bird in your yard can actually help uncover major scientific discoveries and even protect entire species.
You know that moment? You're in a park, or maybe just looking out your window, and a bird just catches your eye. And you start to wonder, what's its story? Where is it going? What's it looking for? That little spark of curiosity, we've all been there. Well, it turns out those exact questions are the very things that professional ornithologists, the scientists who study birds, are trying to answer every single day. Your casual thought is actually the first step in some seriously important research. So, how do they actually do it? I mean, how do scientists uncover the secret lives of birds? Well, they've got some amazing methods, so let's take a peek into their world and see what they focus on.
It pretty much boils down to 4 key areas. First, there are breeding surveys. They track everything from nests and eggs to the moment a chick takes its first flight. It's a huge sign of a healthy population. Then they track migration, mapping these unbelievable journeys across whole continents. They also analyze diets to figure out what birds are eating, which tells us a ton about the entire ecosystem. And finally, they do simple population counts, just keeping an eye on the numbers to see if a species is doing okay or if it's in trouble.
And the technology they're using now is, wow, it's just getting seriously impressive. We've come a long way from just putting a simple band on a bird's leg. Now, scientists can attach these tiny, super lightweight GPS loggers that track a bird's exact flight path in real time. It's like having a front row seat to their incredible journeys.
Which brings up a really important question, right? If these scientists have all this amazing tech and all this expertise, why on earth would they need help from regular people like you and me?
Well, it really just comes down to a numbers game. A single researcher, or even a whole team, they just can't be everywhere at once. They're limited by time and where they can physically be. But us, the public, we are everywhere. We're in backyards, parks, and cities all over the world. Our widespread presence and our knowledge of our own local areas, that's our superpower.
And this is where things get really exciting. This is where your everyday observations become the missing piece of the puzzle. You can go from just being someone who watches birds to someone who is a genuine contributor to science.
And there are so many ways to get involved. You could use bird watching apps on your phone to log what you see, and that data gets fed right into these huge scientific databases. Or you could join an official citizen science project where you follow specific instructions. If you're really eager, you can even volunteer directly with researchers out in the field. Or honestly, you could just start by keeping a detailed journal of what you see. Every single note helps build the bigger picture. But you might be wondering, does all this data actually make a difference? Oh yeah, it absolutely does. The information collected by people just like you is already having a massive real-world impact. Let me show you how it works.
I mean, think about this for a second. In one huge case, the first red flag that a certain migratory bird was in serious trouble didn't come from some fancy funded study. Nope, it came from thousands of everyday bird watchers who all started noticing the same thing. Hey, I'm just not seeing this bird around as much as I used to.
It's a fascinating process. It all kicks off with you, just noticing something's a little off. Then, when thousands of people report that same feeling, researchers can pull all that data together. Suddenly, a pattern emerges from the noise. That's when they can officially confirm a large-scale decline. And that hard evidence is exactly what's needed to kickstart real conservation efforts. Your small observation literally becomes the catalyst for big change. Here's another great, concrete example. Imagine a scientist studying kingfisher breeding. They can probably only keep an eye on a handful of nests themselves. But when local birdwatchers start reporting where they're seeing nests along their nearby rivers, that one researcher suddenly gets a much bigger, more accurate set of data, covering a way bigger area than they ever could on their own.
So look, the most important thing to take away from all this is that you can get involved, and it's so much easier than you probably think. You don't need a biology degree or expensive binoculars. All you need is to be curious. So what's your first step?
There are 3 really simple ways to jump in. First, just look up a local birding group or nature center. They usually have events and are always super welcoming to new people. Second, just do a quick online search for Citizen Science Bird Project. You'll find tons of projects you can join right from your phone. And third, you can start this afternoon. Seriously, just grab a notebook and pen and start your own journal.
So the next time you look out the window and you see a bird, don't just see a bird, see a piece of data, see a character in a huge unfolding scientific story. And the real question is, what story will that bird help us all tell?